Bum 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 bum. All right, yes, we are live. All right, will people be joining us later or will they not? Who knows? Who can say where the stream flows, where the day goes? Only time. All right. Should probably share this with some other people. Share this with other people. I'm going to share it. I'm going to share the link to the stuff, the content. You know what I mean? I'm going to steal it. I'm going to steal the audience's attention. My Nicolas Cage impersonation. Right. Oh, would you look at that? It seems that Denis Villeneuve explains he's making Dune 3 sooner than he expected. All right. There's more news to talk about. Just bear with me while I set that up. So that means I can go tippity type. All right. So, how's everybody's day been? Don't mind me, I'm just going to drink this. Very good stuff, this. Rejuvenating stuff. Might as well eat my yogurt-coated Brazil nuts whilst waiting for people to arrive. Because there's been a lot that's happened in the past wee while. So it's been quite eventful. Oh boy, it has been eventful. Where do I even begin? Well, for starters, I begin the moment I stop eating these nuts. This should be. Just texting somebody regarding some of the such enlightening news today. Okay, given the fact that all right, let's get started. Right. So, the Nintendo Switch 2 is released today, and been walking around the shops here in Venice, and yep, the games are still ridiculously expensive. Mario Kart World, especially. I've noticed that naturally, given the fact that the other games are new releases that have been made by AAA companies for the latest console, of course, they're going to be high prices. I mean, you got Indiana Jones of the Great Circle for the PlayStation 5 at a high price, which makes sense because it's a AAA game for the latest console being the PlayStation 5. And so it had DLC for a premium edition, which then, that version of the game is more expensive, about coming out about £74 or something like that. Someone just told me, yeah, I have no interest in the Switch 2. It's kind of scammy. I mean, I'd be fond of playing the game. It's just that they're expensive. Do you want to express that? So it's kind of hard for me to focus on two things at once. Hold on a minute. Anyway, so yes, they're still expensive. I've noticed that other games like Donkey Kong Bonanza and other games are like £64.99, the same price as like Indiana Jones and Great Circle for PlayStation 5, which makes sense. But Mario Kart World is still ridiculously expensive, so it had better impress, or else this is going to flop like the Wii U. In fact, I think there's been other commenters I've noticed online who feel the same way. Okay, how do I do this? All right. Right. What was I doing again? Sorry. Yes. Add to the stage. Here we go. Ah, darn it. Wrong button. Sorry. Wrong button. I accidentally closed it down. There we go. Right. Then I show the screen, do that, and then do that. Okay, here we go. So basically on, is this glitched out? Sorry, it looked like there was a full screen for the moment. Anyway, so several hours ago, the Nintendo channels have announced, it's out now, go get it in the stores. I've commented here, will a ridiculously high price get in the way of this console success? Why don't we just wait here a while, see what happens? I was referring to The Thing, which is one of my favorite horror movies. And I really like this comment here. Will it Wii, or will it Wii U? To Wii or not to Wii? That is the question. I love that comment. And welcome, Baron. Welcome to the live stream. Hi, Scott. My thoughts on the whole situation. I don't even have a Switch to begin with. Neither do I at the moment, because I'm not big into horrible gaming, right? But the Switch 2 seems kind of like a scam in a sense. It's more expensive on the Switch 1. Doesn't upgrade the graphics substantially. I mean, it upgrades the screen quality, not the graphics. That's interesting to point out. And the cartridges you get for it, you're paying even more for, and you don't even maintain the game. They contain a code. Yeah, I've addressed that previously. Interior switch to say yes. Now you can download it. Yeah, exactly, Baron. This Nintendo Switch shows too many red flags going into it. So if I'm going to get the Switch 2, I'm going to at least wait until the prices go down. And if it really does have backwards compatibility, then at least I can have the benefit of having a collection of new Nintendo Switch 1 games combined with some recent Nintendo Switch 2 games. Of course, we're just going to have to wait for the prices to drop. They will. It's just that the prices are just ridiculously high. This comment here says, Nintendo's had its ups and downs like 2000. So GameCube wasn't a success, but people still love the GameCube. But DS and Wii were. Later, the 3DS and Wii U era was, again, not so successful in Nintendo, but the OG Switch was a giant success. So I wonder how the case of this next system will look like. A down, giant success, something in between? I guess time will tell. It's in God's hands now. All right. So now that's over. Mobile, not horrible, but well, yeah, I mean, the appeal of the Nintendo Switch is that it's basically a mobile home console. It's like the DS, but higher quality. And obviously with the Nintendo Switch 2, it's bumping up the screen quality from 720p to 1080p to 4K. And this is mobile. So yeah, it's understandable that the console itself is going to be expensive. I have no problem with the console itself being expensive. In fact, I actually went to the store and I've actually found out that the Nintendo Switch 2, as it's being sold in the stores, is actually, from what I can tell, less expensive than that PlayStation 5 I got. Like, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the expense of the games, specifically Mario Kart World. It should not be at that price. It shouldn't. So, yeah. Thought I'd point that out. Also, in speaking of gaming, I was on Evan Prince's live stream last night, watching the state of play with him, and he's the kind of person who says, if there's at least one thing to be looking forward to in a state of play video, then at least he's happy. But as it turns out, this one more than delivered. As it turns out, Evan Prince is a big 007 fan, so he was more than happy to see the brand new James Bond game coming out soon, which seems to be some mixture of Hitman and Uncharted. And fun fact, 007 did indeed inspire Nathan Drake. And Lara Croft for that matter, but that shouldn't really be surprising. Well, Lara Croft was more, well, I suppose both Lara Croft and Nathan Drake were more inspired by Indiana Jones. But anyway, First Light 007. This seems very exciting. Speaking of spy stuff, Metal Gear Solid Delta. Pretty solid remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, so that's something to look forward to. Pragmata. This game looks really interesting. This it kind of looks like Stellar Blade merged with like something like Dead Space or something like that. So it's a spaceman looking after this little girl. So that should be interesting. I've got no interest in that one. Silent Hill F. So Max Derrick was speculating that this was about the societal pressure of the main protagonist. So it's going to be pretty interesting to delve into another bit of cultural implication there. Neo 3, that guy looks like the Joker. I just put a smile on that face. So Astrobot is getting more content. Ghost of Yote is being teased out. Yeah, mostly solid hits. And looks pretty exciting. And now, Baron, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, so let's lay the groundwork for a wee bit. So, if you've been keeping up with the culture, you'll recognize that in modern entertainment, it's been a common practice for Hollywood as well as the corporate types to have a very superficially performative approach at diversity. Obviously, we want to have people represented in the media. We want people to have fair chances, and we want people to, be cast in certain roles and just have fun and, be seen. Like, obviously, we want that, but the way that these corporations do it, it's done in a very performative kind of way. Like, for example, they will uplift minority characters only to then spit in the face and constantly stomp on people like white men. And they'll empower women, but they do so in a way that makes them narcissists rather than heroes. And another common practice on a superficial basis was their tendency to race swap certain characters for the sake of superficial diversity. And obviously, characters like Miles Morales and the like can work if written well, but a common problem is that there's been a lot of characters that were race swapped and they weren't written well because the writers foolishly thought that, oh, well, if we're virtue signaling, then we don't have to write the characters well. That's a big mistake. And so because of that superficial approach, people have been pointing out the double standard, like, okay, well, if you want to race swap like Tony Stark with the character of Ironheart, why can't we race swap Black Panther? The woke would be screeching at the mere thought of that. But that's the double standard. Because Ironheart is such a poorly written character. I mean, true, War Machine also stole from Tony Stark, like Ironheart did. But at least War Machine was a likable character. and was a suitable foil and friend for Tony Stark to bounce off from. Meanwhile, Ironheart has, or Iron Fart as I jokingly call her, has no likable traits and literally did what she did just to prove herself and to show that she's the best and that the suit she's going to make is iconic, even though Tony Stark is the one that invented the suit. And Tony Stark actually redeemed his character, whereas Ironheart has remained a narcissist and no one's called her out of it. So because of this double standard of diversity representation, people have said, well, why don't they race swap Black Panther? They would never do that. They would never do that. But lo and behold, oh, brace yourselves. Oh, brace yourselves. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, brace yourselves. Oh, check this out. Okay, you need to sit down because this is astonishing. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? 3, 2, 1, boom. I know. I couldn't believe it either. They did it. They actually did it. They actually did it. They made a white man Black Panther. They've actually done it. They actually did it.
They actually did it.
Yep.
Okay. For those of you that are not in the know, you're out of the woke loop. One of the jokes, the ongoing, continuous jokes about them race swapping all of these characters. They keep race swapping every white, red-haired character to be black.
Yeah, the redhead characters, that's right.
Like that makes a difference. Like that virtue signaling makes anything better. It doesn't, because the fans want the characters that they fell in love with all these years on the pages of the comic books.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We are sick and tired of you race swapping, gender swapping, sexuality swapping, and everything else in between. However, one of the jokes that I've seen so many times till I'm blue in the face, I'm just tired of saying it, is, can't wait till they cast Ryan Gosling as Black Panther. And what it is it's people talking about how much they're so irritated with switching to white characters, but they refuse to change anyone that's a person of color to white.
Exactly.
Well, they said, watch us. And they just did it. So many outlets are talking about it, I didn't know which one to pick.
So there you go. There's been mixed reactions to this. I mean, there's been another person I've noticed online saying that this person found the story very engaging, well written, and was still engaged even with that reveal. And other people are just, just still utterly flabbergasted. Just like, like this is a cultural moment right here. I mean, I in some ways, I don't even know how to respond to this. They actually did it. They actually did it. Look, whatever this entails, this is gonna make the woke seethe in the mouth, and it will reveal the double standard. At the very least, however the story turns out, I haven't actually read it, but I'd imagine that however it goes, at the very least, it'll start to get people to think. At the very least, and if it gets people to think, then I guess it's a good move. Let's see. Baron von Boom Boom says, Stanley, I think you're referring to Stanley as in STAN space LEE, which his full name. It's kind of a play on the name. Yeah, Stanley. Stanley even said there's some characters that are ethically coded, so they can't be very swapped. Take Storm, for example. She's literally an African storm goddess. No changing that.
Oh, but we gotta make her some Latina X or whatever we call it these days, because we have to include those people in there.
I've noticed that, there's just some characters where you just think, no, you don't do that. You don't change the character's skin color. With some characters, like, you just don't do that. Like, this is the reason why so many people have gotten so frustrated with more recent seasons of Doctor Who and some other historical drama type shows that keep race swapping certain characters, like such as like one of Henry VIII's wives, or Isaac Newton as this Indian guy, or this one Viking character as an African woman, or one of Henry VIII's wives as this African British woman. Like, these race swaps don't make sense on the cultural basis of the stories they're trying to tell. And so people have called them out on this, but then the mainstream media are like, oh, are you bigots or something? Oh, you're having complaints about these guys. That must mean you're some kind of racist. No, it's not because we're racist. It's because this doesn't make narrative sense. And so finally, however the story turns out, this thing happens, and it completely reveals the double standard. hey, Tekken Combat, welcome. People take, it makes sense for Black Panther to not be race swapped either. I mean, what makes this even more bizarre is that this character, he doesn't even appear to be biracial. He's just straight up a white person with blonde hair, blue eyes. Like, did T'Challa make out with Sue Storm from the Fantastic Four or something? You're getting the Switch 2 today. Let me guess. You're also going to be getting the Mortal Kombat collection that was recently announced at the State of Play. Wouldn't surprise me if you said yes. Anyway, going back to this. Yeah, Stanley. Yeah, Stanley. I'm using speech to text while I'm working. Okay. Sorry to interrupt your work. Sorry. Plus, there are characters like Spider-Man that do not rely on race. That's an important distinguishment. Like, for example, like some characters like Wonder Woman and Storm and other characters like them. Those characters are defined by the cultures that they represent. So they should not be race swapped. Meanwhile, you have more flexible characters like Spider-Man and his different iterations, or like let's see, there's other characters in that capacity where people say, well, yeah, I mean, we don't really mind as such, because there are some characters that are not really culturally bound in the way that other characters are, so they're more let off the hook in that regard. I think it's the same reason why there's some characters that are not really bound by other sort of things in order to get them to work. Like, for example, Rafiki is male in the Lion King animated story. Rafiki is female in the theater play. Doesn't really alter the character in any significant way. But there's some characters where they have to be, say, male or female or African or Greek, or they have to be like British or Russian or whatnot, because that's how their culture is defined by that certain character. It would not make sense for some characters to be completely flipped just for the sake of appealing to some of the people, because guess what? There are African American people out there who relate with, say, Captain America, even though he does not share the same skin color as them. And stuff like that goes to show that this desperate appeasement to characters just solely on the basis of skin color, it's just so superficially pathetic. Like, there's a double standard. Like Martin Luther King Jr. said in his great speech, "I dream that one day people will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the quality of the character." And the woke crowd don't understand that, nor do they understand forgiveness, by the way. I guess in this case, a white man is Black Panther. On the one hand, yeah, it doesn't really make sense to, swap out Black Panther because Black Panther's, culturally bound to Africa, however you make of that. On the other hand, just showing this, showcases the double standard that, well, if you allow the race swapping of people like Iron Man to Ironheart, then why don't you allow the race swapping of Black Panther? And B, I've heard that people actually enjoyed the story that this reveal was based in. So I'm assuming there's a convincing story reason for why Black Panther has a white son. I'm assuming he must have fallen in love with some Caucasian woman at some point and gave birth to the son. Now he has to deal with the ramifications of that. That would make sense narratively. So whether the story, whichever direction the story goes, just the fact that it happens, it's just I'm kind of speechless. In terms of heroes, if their powers come from an object like Green Lantern, they are not tied to race and can be changed. Right. So by that logic, Peter Parker gets bitten by the radioactive spider, then he becomes Spider-Man. Same happens with Miles Morales. He gets bitten by radioactive spider, so he's Spider-Man. Same happens with the alternative universe version of Gwen Stacy and the Spanish guy who's Spider-Man futuristic version, and so on and so forth. Spider-Man noir, like all so on and so forth. I suppose that makes sense. Other characters are more like culturally bound, whether it be like alien planets like Superman to Krypton, and the other characters are like bound to their culture, like with what Wonder Woman is to Greek mythos, like Storm is to being an African goddess. And like Thor and Loki being Viking gods, and Kratos being a Greek god, and that's, I suppose, like the protagonist from Highlander being Scottish, and William Wallace being Scottish, and Robin Hood being English, and Tintin being from Belgium. And Poirot being from Belgium, so on and so forth. Hopefully not Afrikaans. So what do you mean by that, Baron von Boom Boom? I don't know what you mean. I suppose this has raised an interesting discussion. But make a long story short, whether this story about T'Challa having a white son, whichever direction this goes, I hope the narrative is actually as compelling as I've heard it is. But either way, it's going to make the woke think and make people realize their double standards. And for that reason, I could be happy. Hopefully the story turns out to be good. All right, so until Baron von Boom Boom gets back to us on what he means by Afrikaans, we're going to be moving on to the next topic. I've heard from a friend of mine that there's recently been an announcement from Denis Villeneuve in regards to Dune Part 3, which I presume is going to be based on the story Dune Messiah, which I've heard is pretty depressing, a depressing epilogue to the Dune series. It says here, I'll get the thing up for you guys. Denis Villeneuve addresses why he returned to work on Dune 3 sooner than expected. Woohoo! Dune Part 2 was a critical and commercial hit, yet making the film and its predecessor was a difficult endeavor that required years to come to fruition. Much like Lord of the Rings, yes. Villeneuve previously shared that he wanted to take a break from diving into writing Dune 3's story, which will adapt Frank Herbert Dune Messiah novel. Yeah, thought so. While speaking with Collider, Villeneuve explained that he returned to write Dune 3 sooner than planned because of the overwhelmingly positive response to Dune Part 2. He shared how he was moved by the way that audiences around the world reacted to Dune Part 2, which inspired him and gave him a sense of responsibility to return to the story. Villeneuve also discussed how he's eager to explore the fallout of Chani, having her heart broken, along with the start of the Holy War. All right, I'll get to your comment in a moment. Okay, that's where I left off. So I was expecting to. Okay, he did slightly differ from the Dune book. I have taken the time to read this, and yeah, the ending of Dune Part 2 does differ. Like in the film, Paul's mom is still pregnant, whereas in Dune Part 2, the daughter was already born. The daughter was born by the time Paul gets a key moment in his rebellion going. All right, so yeah, look forward to that. All right, so let's address your comment here. For the new Black Panther, Afrikaans were the Dutch settlers of South Africa, which caused the apartheid. Oh, okay, right. Okay, I see what you mean. Right. So, what else is there going for me? Still working on that new YouTube channel. That is still in the works, but this month or the next, it'll come out. Just wait and see. And now, let's just talk about other movies for a moment. Apparently, the Wicked for Good trailer has released, so I might as well react to it. For copyright reasons, I'm not going to actually showcase the actual video in question, lest I get into some copyright trouble, but I'll briefly show it to you. So, yeah, this one. Wait, oh, sorry, I forgot to add it to the stage. Sorry. This one. Okay, so what the heck was that video about? That's a shame. All right, so for copyright reasons, I'm not going to show the trailer, but I'm just going to react to it from the beginning. Another comment from Barrett. He says, whenever people bring up the topic of movies aren't like books, I always counter with books don't have a budget. Their imagination isn't limited to what we can physically do or time constraints. Something else to consider is that all words, all letters are rooted in hieroglyphics, which in themselves are visual pictures. So technically, books like these, with text and stuff like that, every single book you've ever read is technically a visual novel. It's all visuals. Think about it. All right, so reacting to Wicked for Good in 3, 2, 1. Fabulously Pink Room. Alpha, can you hear me? Not the monkeys. Oh no, not the monkeys. Nice classic. I recognize that song when she was doing something with a certain character. I'm not going to spoil it if you're not familiar with it. Yes, the no good deed goes unpunished. Yellow Brick Road, right? Who can say? Yeah, of course I'm going to sing that song because that's what this movie is named after. Yeah. I know. I can sense all the fans of this movie crying already. I know. I've seen this on stage. I know how the story goes. There's Dorothy. Wonderful. They call me wonderful. There they are. So it is going to retell the events of Wizard of Oz in a way. Well, of course it is. Animals are free. Bubbles! Debatably. Yeah, this is going to be like the chick flick of the year. Yeah. Looking for good. A wonderful Wizard of Oz. All right, November 21, Real D 3D IMAX. All right. Can I just say that the title seems a bit backwards? Wicked for good. There's kind of an oxymoron there. Anyway, I'm not talking about how the plot or details of a movie would differ from its source book. Right. Fair enough. Okay, so I just did that. So now I can. So what can I say about Wicked for Good? that's title's still going to be so strange for me. No doubt, many women will cry. Many women will, burst into tears. I just know it. I just know it will. I don't think it will. I know it will. I mean, the first one seemed to be a reasonably good adaptation of the source material, so we'll see where it goes. What else is there to bring up? I've brought up all the main subjects I wanted to bring up. I guess I'll take the time to talk about some recent movies I managed to catch up with. I mean, I need to catch up with more movies, namely, especially that one with Wes Anderson. But I have seen the new Mission Impossible movie and Karate Kid Legends. Now, with Karate Kid Legends, obviously, it's a kind of, people say that it's probably the strangest movie in the franchise, because it's this crossover event between all these different branches of the Karate Kid series, both the original trilogy as well as the Jackie Chan movie, as well as a brief Cobra Kai cameo. And people would say that compared to other Karate Kid content, it underwhelms with a fairly predictable plot. I wouldn't call the movie terrible. I'd probably say the movie was, fine. And at the very least enjoyable, because it is really cool to see people do those martial arts moves. And some of the martial arts moves are incredible. The practical choreography, incredible to watch. And you can kind of, if you've seen little sports movies, you can, see where it goes. But Jackie Chan can still move, as can the OG Karate Kid. And the movie does build up its characters enough for you to want the main protagonist to win. So if it achieves that, then I guess I can't get too mad at the movie. As for Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, I was very much looking forward to this movie, given how Dead Reckoning was one of the best movies of the year it came out. And Tom Cruise was on such a cruise of his career. Not bad for a guy who's nearing his senior years. He still looks like he's in his 40s. Very impressive. But sadly, Final Reckoning in some ways didn't really live up to what Dead Reckoning built up. On the other hand, it still was nevertheless a really intense, engaging movie. Like the whole submarine sequence as well as the biplane sequence. Man, I was on the edge of my seat. It's like, ah! Get up! Get up! Oh no! Oh no! And there was other moments where I just thought, you absolute madman! Man, oh man alive. What a madman that Ethan Hunt is. Although, spoiler alert, by the end of the movie, it's kind of anticlimactic because, they accomplished the goal. They've saved the world, but at the same time, what is Ethan Hunt doing with the entity AI in that rectangular memory stick thing? Wasn't his task meant to be to destroy it? Isn't that a bit risky to keep that thing as an ornament on the shelf or something? Like, when he walks away with it, like, after the other character gives it to him, can't he just, like, throw it to the ground and step on it? Like, in fact, come to think of it, why didn't they just destroy it there and then after they got it captured? I mean, if they let that thing unleashed onto the internet again, without the source code, like, the entire world is screwed. So that seems very odd to me. So yeah, that was very odd. But other than that, it was still a really engaging finale, I'd say. Disappointments aside. I find it interesting that they call the entity the anti-god. That very much echoes the Revelation scriptures warning us about the Antichrist. That in turn reminds me of this part from Metal Gear Solid 2 when there's this big plot twist in the final codec call that regarding the AI and their goals to take over the world, not by creating context more so than that misinformation. So yeah, it does seem rather scary, but we can still differentiate AI from the actual thing. And also, Baron von Boom Boom says, also to bring it back to a topic I was going to address, in regards to the prices of the Switch 2 games and all that, naturally, they're going to have to go up because the developers are still what? I think he'll complete that comment soon enough. There's still people too. Yeah. Aren't we all?
Tell them that it's human nature.
They have a cost of living that needs to go up as well. Because if games stayed at $50 like they were back in the 2000s, you probably would not have nearly as many games because it would not be a livable job. There is that to consider. And the thing is, with AAA companies, say what you want about a lot of their games, but people like Nintendo go out of their way to make the best quality games they can that appeal to as broad an audience as possible. And unlike other gaming companies, Nintendo doesn't really have any divisive political undertones in their content. No, it's simple, straightforward stuff that anyone can get into. But yeah, there is that problem with that, with the fact that poor people can't afford this. Well, people all over the world will probably have to give their life mortgages just to keep up with the latest gaming trends. Meanwhile, there's far more worthy things to spend your money on. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Baron. It does put things into perspective, yeah. One more thing before I head off. Yes, I did meet Malika Wrights in person, as you clearly saw from my most recent video. Well, one of my most recent videos. My most recent video was the Lilo and Stitch voice impressions after of making this video. But yes, this is something I was trying to get organized, and I finally found the opportunity to actually make it happen. So I'm very glad it happened because it means that the people who've been keeping up with her channel can now, well, Malika has been very busy, so people have been anticipating her stuff for some time, and she's more than delivered. She's promising new songs that she wrote, not necessarily sung, but wrote, and she's going to have free audiobooks. When exactly is she going to upload them? Don't know. But she said she'll make time for that, so we'll wait and see, even if it takes years. All right, so feel free to click this if you haven't already. And with that, that's pretty much the end of the stream. So thank you very much for joining in the live stream and joining with me. Feel free to like the comment, like and comment, and share this video around if you want to bring a discussion with people. Spread this channel to other people. There will be more content really soon, especially planning more reviews and more content. I'll probably get into some more gameplay sessions too. There is a new YouTube channel coming up, so stay tuned for that. Is there anything else anybody wants to say before I head off? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Oh, Nintendo has its own fair shower drama. Yeah, just look at the whole Power World situation. Oh, yeah. The whole plagiarism claims and stuff like that. Or the fact that their Pokemon games have literally not changed in decades, except just got prettier. Yeah, the same can be said for Call of Duty and FIFA and a number of other games that are literally just copy, paste, recycled. And yet, for some reason, people keep buying them. At least with games like Team Fortress 2, they're constantly being updated, and it's still the same game. Same can be said for Fortnite, but really, like, it's just the same game, but prettier. There's only a few other Pokemon games that are actually different. So, yeah, beware of cheap gaming recycling. All right, I think that's a good note to end on. So, I'll consider playing Mario Kart World, but not yet. It's still ludicrously expensive. I'll probably wait, I don't know, a year until that sort of thing happens. But will Nintendo Switch 2 succeed or not? We'll wait and see. And I'll get back to you on more movies I've been catching up with. In the meantime, like, subscribe, and share with all the people. Support the channel in any way you can. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to support my friends, a sci-fi project on Patreon. We're making excellent progress. I'll update you on more on that in the future. In the meantime, Scott's Thinker signing out.